This is the AB4WS radio show. Every week, bringing you the exciting amateur radio news and information happening in the greater Cincinnati, Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana areas.
The AB4WS radio show can be found on the Apple Podcast app or your favorite podcast application. And now also available on the AB4WS radio show YouTube channel. Congratulations to the Dixie Heights High School Amateur Radio Club, KY4D8, who took first place in the October ARRL School Club Roundup Senior High School class. Sherry, KJ4MOB, her volunteers, and the students did another bang-up job. They made 593 QSOs for the score of 136,390 points, working 48 states, 27 schools, 28 DX entities, 6 clubs, and 7 Canadian provinces. Be sure to listen out for KY4DH in the February ARRL School Club Roundup. Pre-registration is now open for a student coding competition, a new national challenge sponsored by the ARRL. The project is designed to engage young amateur radio operators in shaping the future of amateur radio through software development. Open to ARRL member amateur radio operators age 21 and younger, the competition will invite students to design a mobile app that supports the ARRL and the amateur radio community. Cash awards totaling up to $25,000 will be presented to one or more of the winning entries. The competition officially began on January 1st, 2026, when complete rules and application specifications were released at coding.awarl.org. Project submissions will be due by March 31st, 2026, and entries will be judged on how well they meet the specifications, the user interface design and usability, the code quality and stability, and the inclusion of extra features. Adult ARRL members are encouraged to help spread the word and support the next generation of amateur radio innovators. ARRL student membership is free for full-time students aged 21 and younger, removing a key barrier to participation. For complete information on this challenge, go to coding.awarl.org. The Scioto Valley Amateur Radio Club is hosting a new nightly net starting on January 17th at 9 p.m. The W8BAP repeater in Chillicothe, Ohio on 146.85 with a PL tone of 74.4 or connect via All-Star, node number 669400. Some hams have mighty goals and are really big parks on the air activators. I think of my friend Tom, NV48, or Cliff, KQ4UUR, whose goal is to activate all of the 187 parks in Kentucky, or Brent, N4BDW, or James, KAPZN. But this week, I was notified about a guy from Kentucky who has achieved POTA milestones that most of us cannot ever dream of achieving. Ranked 7th for the number of POTA entities activated by this ham, with 1,434 separate parks activated. POTA activations in every state except for Hawaii. During 2025, he activated over 2,000 times in over 1,000 different parks and over 50,000 contacts. His POTA stats show 3,755 activations in 1,434 separate parks with 86,937 QSOs. You would think that we would all know this ham with these rock star POTA stats, but he flies well under the radar, not wanting to draw a lot of attention. Who is this ham? Well, his name is Scott Majors, K3SDM from Louisville, Kentucky. He was first licensed as a novice at 15 years of age, but it wasn't until September of 2020 that he passed his technician and general class license, and then in December of 2020 upgraded to extra class. So Cliff, I think Scott has thrown down the gauntlet. It is time for you to step to the plate. I think you have some work to do. To Scott, congratulations. I love what you've done in POTA and feel honored to find, according to my logs, that I've worked you 6 times through the years, all on phone, on 20, 17, and 15 meters. Keep up the great work and POTA on! Some new technologies are coming into D-Star, which will open up a lot of things. Ray, KY4RW, has been working with the U.S. Trust people in the newest version of D+ reflector software and is experimenting with new capabilities to allow REF reflectors to connect to XLX reflectors. Ray, KY4RW, has successfully linked REF 56 Bravo to XLX 721 Alpha for a test and made the first cross-mode contact with Larry, NN4H, who was on C4FM AM over XLX 721 Alpha. They're working on improving things a little with a few tweaks here and there and working out some of the bugs, but perhaps in the near future you would find REF 56 Alpha linked to multi-mode reflector XLX 721 Alpha, allowing D-Star DMR C4 FM communication over an REF reflector REF 056 Alpha. As the technologies improve, the capabilities of what we have in particular in emergency situations continue to grow. Thanks to Ray, KY4RW, and Larry, NN4H, for what they do, living on the technological cutting edge of things to come. So check out REF 056 Alpha and see what you can hear. Sad news to report this week on the passing of Mike Babb, N4PF of Cincinnati, Kentucky, who has become a silent key. Mike was a founding member of the Harrison County Amateur Radio Club and past president. First licensed in 1962, was not only instrumental in the early establishment of the Harrison County Club and guiding its early development, he was a very active amateur radio operator, member of the Quarter Century Wireless Association, an ARRL member, an ARRL VEC volunteer examiner, an 8-band DXCC, as well as a CW operator. Prayers to his family and friends. His signals will be missed. The last weekend in January 24th and 25th, will be Winter Field Day, and the Ukiah Amateur Radio Society will be setting up at the Harvest Home Park in Cheviot. To sign up for the event, go to GRASSHOPPERSIGNUP.com/S/WTFYTP. The ARRL is kicking off America 250 Worked All States Operating Event in 2026, and the Kentucky section is already starting to plan their participation. Each section will have 2 opportunities to operate W1AW/their call district. Kentucky will operate W1AW/4 March 18th through the March 24th, and again September 9th through September 15th. The event is centered around each affiliated club, and each of the 44 affiliated clubs in Kentucky is encouraged to start working on what they can do in the event and communicate with the Kentucky affiliated club coordinator Steve Morgan, W4NHO, at W4NHO@ARRL.net. For more information on the event, go to ARRL.org/America250-WAS. Applications are open for the 2026 Youth on the Air Camp. If you know a young ham between the age of 15 and 25 that would like to attend the camp June 14th through the 19th in Huntsville, Alabama, direct them to youthontheair.org for the information on how to apply. The ARRL Foundation Scholarship Program is now open in the application period for eligible amateur radio operators pursuing higher education. The ARRL Foundation manages more than 150 scholarships established by generous donors ranging from $500 to $25,000. To apply, go to ARRL.org/scholarship-program. The weekend of January 17th and 18th is a Support Your Parks weekend for Parks on the Air, and the K8BSR Black Swamp Amateur Radio Club is challenging everyone to find a ham who has never activated a park or hunted a park before to join in on the great fun of Parks on the Air. If you cannot find a new ham, grab a non-ham and bring them out to your activation and let them see all the fun they're missing out on in the wonderful world of ham radio and Parks on the Air. The Monix Group will be meeting on January 17th at 6 p.m. at the Donato's Pizza on Donnemeyer Drive in Bellevue, Kentucky, where Calvin will have his new unit in SDS 150 and give his findings with this rig so far. January 17th starting at $1,900 UTC through January 18th at 0359 hours UTC is the ARRL January VHF contest, where operators try to work as many grid squares with all the equipment above 50 megahertz, hoping for some great sporadic E propagation. For more information, go to ARRL.org/January-VHF. On January 31st at 9 a.m., the Kentucky Section Emergency Coordinator Dennis W2QN will be hosting a mini Aries conference at the Shelby County Fire Station No. 1, 200 Alpine Drive in Shelbyville, Kentucky. The invitation is open to anyone interested in emergency communications in the Commonwealth. The hope is to work towards rebuilding Aries into an effective group in Kentucky. If you have questions or for more information, reach out to Dennis W2QN at DENNISLUTZ number 2 at AOL.com.
Repeater news.
Are you looking for the most up-to-date list of repeaters in the greater Cincinnati area? Well, I have an Excel spreadsheet where I've listed repeaters that are active in the area, separated by tabs for each band or mode, so you can easily look for just DMR repeaters or 2-meter analog repeaters and so on. The list includes 2 meters, 220, 440, 6 meters, D-Star, DMR, C4FM, P25, and some other classifications. Every time I update the file, I include the date and the file name so that you know you have the latest update. To download the file, go to the AB4WS Radio Show Facebook page and go to the file section and download the file. If you're not on Facebook, email me at ab4ws.radio@gmail.com and I can email you the latest file. If you see any errors, problems, additions, or corrections, email that information to ab4ws.radio@gmail.com.
Hamfest.
January 18, 2026 is the SCARF Hamfest at the Shade Community Center, 2380 Old US 33 in Shade, Ohio. January 31st, 2026 is the Struthers Roar, a midwinter hamfest at the St. Nick's Hall, 764 5th Street in Struthers, Ohio. March 7th is the Cave City Hamfest, 502 Mammoth Cave Street in Cave City, Kentucky. Talk in on the 14694 repeater with a PL tone of 114.8. March 8th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. is the Northern Ohio Amateur Radio Society Winter Hamfest at the Lorain County Community College, College Center, Commons area, 1005 North Abbey Road in Elyria, Ohio. For more information, go to noars.net/hamfest/winter-hamfest. March 15th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. is the Toledo Mobile Radio Association Hamfest at the Owens County Community College Student Health and Activity Center, 7315 Championship Drive in Perrysburg, Ohio. For more information, go to w8hhf.org/hamfest.
Are you looking to upgrade your license? Do you have someone else that's interested in the hobby? Here are some upcoming exam opportunities.
The Milford Amateur Radio Club holds amateur radio testing on the third Thursday of each month at 6 p.m. at the Miami Township Civic Center, 6101 Meyer Drive in Milford, Ohio. Please pre-register at milfordhamradio.org. The Dayton Amateur Radio Association has exams frequently. For their exam schedule, email exams.w8bi@gmail.com. The Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club will sponsor an amateur radio exam session on January 17th from 10 a.m. at the Cuyahoga Falls Public Library, 2025 2nd Street in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. You must pre-register by emailing education@cfarc.org or call 330-929-8921. On January 17th at 1 p.m., the Summit County Amateur Radio Society will hold an amateur radio testing session at the Craftsman Park, 4450 Rex Lake Road, New Franklin, Ohio. For more information, contact Steve Greathouse at 330-697-5086. January 19th at 5:30 p.m., the Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club will hold an amateur radio exam session at the Bethesda Community Church, 989 East Mount Zion Road in Independence, Kentucky. You must register by going to hamstudy.org/session/NKY-VE. On January 24th at 10 a.m., there'll be an amateur radio exam session at the American Legion, Post 46, 45 Spears Lane in Danville, Kentucky. Please pre-register at hamstudy.org/session/WX4GPS-A. March 7th, there'll be a testing session at the Cave City Hamfest, 502 Mammoth Cave Street in Cave City, Kentucky at 9 a.m. Central Time. For more information, email Chappie, KD4SS@KD4SS@ARRL.net. Special thanks to this week's content contributors: AC4HI, KD9EYU, WB8VNH, KY4GW, WB8YYS, KD8ZLD, K9HIO, N8LAR, K4NKU.
If you have something you think other amateur radio operators in the area would be interested in, send the information or your recorded audio file attached in an email to ab4ws.radio@gmail.com.
Covering your amateur radio news and information in the greater Cincinnati, Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana tri-state area, this is Jack Prindle, AB4WS in Big Bone, Kentucky.